Hi there, it's Emma from Emma's Cards and Paper Crafts. Today I'm bringing you a video. We're going to be repurposing this little box here. So I got some nice little chocolates in this from Chococo. I'm sure plenty of you have heard about Chococo in my previous videos. They do the most amazing handmade chocolates. So I've got this little box that some chocolate hearts came in. I thought I'd repurpose it into a gift box for some Easter eggs to be used on an Easter hunt or something. So I've got some of the Florals in Bloom Designer Series paper. So I've already cut and pre-prepped my pieces. So we're using this one here. According to the colours on the back though, it's just Bubble Bath and Petunia Pop. But I'm sure that this here is Fresh Freesia as well. So I've got out Petunia Pop, Bubble Bath and Fresh Freesia just to see which colours I like the best together. I've also used part of this sheet here, just this bottom corner, and I've cut some pieces off of it. So there's my leftover piece. So I've fussy cut some pieces out. I've made a circle for the top of the box. So I will show you all of my pieces now and all of the measurements. So I've got two strips are 25 centimeters long, one is 2.5 centimeters wide, and one is 4 1/4 wide. Obviously, depending on your box or container you want to repurpose, you're going to have to resize. I've cut them together so that when they're next to each other they perfectly line up. I've then got a scrap of white because we're going to do some stamping as well, and then the circle I've cut out for the top here. I specifically wanted this big flower. I love this big flower. It's very similar to the one that we had a little while ago in another suite. Can't think the name of it, but I absolutely loved it. And I love that you could cut out all of the flowers with the dies and stuff. So I wanted to use that similar flower again. So I've got that to go in the top. It's a smidge smaller than the top, but it was the closest die that I had that would be the right size. I checked my circles and the 2 3/8 inch punch was way too small. So this is the second circle from the, what are they called? I put them back without keeping them out. It is these ones here, the Stylish Shapes die. So it's the second smallest circle from that. So I've already cut that out, so I may as well put that back in the packet quickly so it doesn't get separated, because I know what I'm like. I come to my desk some days and there's like stamps and dies everywhere, where I've just had a moment of madness and just carried on going. So I've got the bright borders and I've blocked up a couple of stamps. So I've got this one just here because I didn't want too much flowery. I thought that would be too much. And then I've got, yeah, From Me to You, I think it is, I blocked up. Let me just double check. Yeah, From Me to You. And then I've got all of these little fussy cut bits out that I've cut out. So I apologise to the kids in the background. It is the Easter holidays. I'm just buying time to record videos here, and they're playing a very intense game of Minecraft down there. So yeah, that's how it goes in my house today. So we're going to start off by moving everything out the way on my tiny desk. So yeah, I've also got the to the point punch out as well, so I can punch my sentiment out. We're going to start by putting our papers on the box. So there is a, don't know if you can notice, a tiny seam down here. So when I measured my box, I wrapped a piece of ribbon around it from the seam to the seam, and then a tiny bit over, so that I could then measure the ribbon with a ruler and get an accurate measurement of how long I needed my paper to be. So because I want this bit here completely covered, where the old label came off of it and the old label came off here, I'm going to stick my paper just like either side of it, so it's like hidden. I've got a new stamp and seal out, and this one seems to be behaving. So just all the way along, I'm just going to put tiny bits of stamp and seal, so that as we stick it down and roll it up, it will hold it in place. find our seam and we're just going to go a little bit further than our seam. I don't want it touching the top of my base, but just a smidge away from it, like so. And hopefully I've got this nice and square and it continues to go round nice and perfectly all the way around. Tiny bit out, I think, only the tiniest smidge out. There we go. That wasn't bad for first try. Give that a nice firm rub down, like so. That's our bottom stuck on, and then we're going to repeat the exact same on our top, but I'm just going to do one big long bit of stamp and seal on this one, like so. And again, I want to hide where the old label was, where I ripped it off. So we're just going to carefully follow that edge all the way around. There we go. So I could have done with making this a tiny bit bigger, but it's not the end of the world, and I'm going to put a tiny bit more glue on this end here, just so that it sticks down. If it doesn't stay stuck down, you could alternatively use a little bit of wet glue. That's nice how the pattern has almost perfectly matched up. I'm not sure my pattern wasn't too bad of a match on that side. So if we put it back there, it should match. Yep, so it matches all the way around now. Not that I'm being too pedantic. There we go. So there's that. Next up, we're going to get our scrap of white. We're going to do our little bit of stamping. So I feel like we need a bit more of the darker colours coming in, so we're going to use Petunia Pop to stamp the border, I think, and we need to make sure we're stamping this the right way around, so we need to have the points at the top and the bottom, like so, just so that we don't waste too much cardstock. So okay, there's that. I feel like we're bringing fresh Freesia for the sentiment. There we go. Got a little dab of ink in the wrong place there, but it's fine. We can cover it by a gem or something pretty. And then lastly, with the bubble bath, didn't get it out, but I've just seen it there now and thought, might try a bit of that. So there's these pretty little flower cluster, and what I'm going to do is get a scrap piece of paper, and we're going to stamp off. We're going to stamp it with a bubble bath, but we're going to stamp it off so it makes it even lighter again. So it will just be sort of in the background. So you can, it's kind of there, but it's we did that one without stamping off. Oh well, we can have a bit of both then, aren't we? Let's have a few over here that are stamped off as well, so that it gives us some variation. See, no such thing as accidents. So then we're going to get blocks and ink out the way. Blocks and ink out the way. Box back in. We're going to get our punch out. And then we're going to carefully punch as close to the edges as we can. There we go. That's going to go on the front of our box, so we can put our scrap out the way. Punch out the way now. And then we're going to work with this. So we're going to put some stamp and seal on the back of this. So try and get this as straight as possible in the centre. There we go. And then because I don't want these seams to be seen, so they're going to be the back of the box, we're going to put our sentiment at the front of the box. We only want to put dimensionals on the bottom half, because otherwise we won't be able to open our box very easily. Believe it or not, I don't have any large dimensionals in front of me. How did that happen? So gonna have to curve some out. That's normal ones. There we go. Put those back in the drawer. So, yep, so I'm going to put 3 on here. 1, 2, 3, maybe even a 4th one just there, just so it's got some extra stick. And then, right, let's find our back centre. There we go. There we go, there's that. And then I've got these little bits and bobs of flowers here. So we could put some of these on dimensionals and build up some flowers at the front and maybe put a couple of extras on the top, because I quite like these little ones. I might put a couple of the little ones over here. So we've got our mini dimensionals here. So pop this one on a mini. I need to put it central. Peel on there. And then, on there like that, just to get a little bit by dimension. And then these ones here, I'm going to pop one of them just down here, like so. So we need a big dimensional for that one, like so. There we go. And then I really want the daisy as well, so I think I'll put the daisy at the top here. There we go, like so. And we've got some half flowers as well. Possibly won't use this one for this project, but this was actually the edge of the sheet of paper here, but these are never wasted because I will be doing a card I've got planned out and prepped ready for my next video. I've cut out some of the flowers. Well, we're just going to make a frame around the edge of the card, just specifically using the half flowers, just to show you how to use up what you think is scraps of your pieces of DSP, when in fact they're not scraps, they're just perfectly placed because they'll go perfectly around the edge of a border of a card. So there's our box, and then I'm just looking for my sparkles. So we have a gift my ink colours from last year. I'm not sure if, I think these are still both current at the moment, but a lot of things are about to retire. So we've got these shiny ones here, which I quite like the look of, and then we've also got these new in colour ones. We haven't actually used any of the new in colour ones in our project, but I just thought I'd show you how shiny they are. Very pretty. But this suite, the Florals in Bloom, does use quite a lot of the new colours as well, so we'll be using those in our next video. We're going to get out a couple of our Petunia pop. Had to stop and think what it was called, their mind went completely blank. So just a couple of sparkles for the top, and then I feel like we need a couple on our label as well. And the box is not going to stay now because it's front heavy. And it's going to keep rolling away from me. Oh, and that time it's going to go the other way. And just one more up there. And there we have it, our beautifully repurposed box. Let's carefully put these flowers to one side because we're not going to waste those. They will be for my next video now. So that's the box. Let me just grab my supplies behind me to show you how we're going to refill this box. So again, we're actually reusing as well. My daughter went to a little pottery workshop at the weekend for a birthday party, and they gave us this box with her pottery in, and I'm going to reuse the wood shavings at the bottom to put our eggs in, and it makes an awful mess, so we're going to try not to make too much mess. And we've got a couple of eggs just to fit in there nicely like so. Tuck all of our bits in, and there we go. No rattles, perfectly fits. 2 little eggs. If you like the look of these eggs, they are from Aldi. My kids love their chocolate, so shh, this is what they're getting for Easter. Easter Bunny will be doing a hunt for them. But this will be a little gift for my friend's little girl, because it was her birthday as well a couple of days ago. But just a little Easter gift for her. So thank you for watching. I hope you'll come back again soon, and I'll see you next week in my next video. Thank you, bye bye.